exciting world of shooting games, understanding the intricate dynamics of your opponents is crucial for success. Graph neural networks and attention mechanisms have emerged as a powerful tool to analyze complex data structures, helping you gain an edge over your competition. So today in this video, we will simplify the technical aspects of graph neural networks and attention and will demonstrate their application in the challenging world of Olympic shooting games. So let's get started with graph neural network. So basically this graph neural network and attention mechanisms are both techniques used in machine learning to process complex data structures, but they serve different purpose. Basically, these graph neural networks are used to process graph structure data, while attention mechanisms are used to process sequential data. So let's use a shooting game domain as an example. In this example, we will focus on 10-meter air rifle shooting event where each shooter competes against a group of other shooters. So let's discuss about graph neural networks first. Now these graph neural networks are particularly useful when the data you are working with has a graph structure where each node represents an object and edges represent the relations between those objects. In the shooting game domain, we can represent each shooter as the node in a graph, and the relation between the shooters can be represented by edges. For example, we can create a directed graph where each node represents a shooter and there is an edge from shooter A to shooter B if shooter A has shot against shooter B in a competition. We can also add additional features to each node such as shooter's average score or the number of competitions they have participated in. So this graph neural network can be used to propagate information from one node to another, allowing us to learn features that capture the relations between nodes. For example, we might use graph neural network to predict a shooter's performance in their next competition based on their past performances and the performances of their opponents. Next comes attention mechanism. Now this attention mechanism on the other hand are used to highlight the most important parts of sequential data. In the shooting game domain, we can represent a shooter's performance over time as a sequence of scores. For example, we might have a sequence of scores for a shooter in a competition where each element in the sequence represents their score in a particular round. So this attention mechanism can be used to identify the most important rounds in a competition that contribute the most to the shooter's overall performance. So one example of an attention mechanism is a soft attention mechanism which assigns a weight to each element in the sequence, and we can use these weights to highlight the most important rounds in a competition by assuming a higher weight to the rounds where the shooter performed particularly well. So to conclude this, we can say this graph neural networks and attention mechanisms are both powerful techniques for processing complex data structures, but they serve different purposes. Like this graph neural networks are used to process graph structure data, while attention mechanisms are used to process sequential data. And in the shooting game domain, graph neural network can be used to analyze the relation between shooters, while attention mechanism could be used to identify the most important rounds in a competition. Thank you.